Welcome to oursanskrit.com. This is lesson 21. In some of our early lessons, we looked at the conjugation of thematic verbs, verbs of classes 1, 4, 6, and 10. Later on, in lessons 16 and 17, we looked at the conjugation of verbs of root class 2. In lesson 19, we looked at root classes 5 and 8, and in lesson 20, at root classes 7 and 9. We said that in class 2, the endings are added directly to the root and the radical vowel is gunated in the strong forms. In class 5, no is added to the root to make the strong stem and nu is added to the root to make the weak stem. And in class 8, o and u are added to make the strong and weak stems respectively. We said that in class 9, the class sign na is added to the root to make the strong stem and ni is added to the root to make the weak stem. And in class 7, the class sign is an infix nasal preceding the last consonant. In the weak forms, it is a nasal adapted to the last consonant, while in strong forms, it is expanded to na. We noted that in verbs of root classes 2, 3 and 7, if the root ends in a consonant, the endings come directly in contact with the final consonants of the roots and therefore complicated consonant sandhis can apply. In this lesson, lesson 21, we will look at the last class of verbs, verbs of root class 3. Class 3 roots form their stems by reduplication. That is, they add a sometimes modified part of the root to the beginning of the root. Reduplication must have started as a process of strengthening the root by doubling the entire root. The general principle of reduplication is the prefixing to the root a part of itself, the initial consonant and the vowel, the starting vowel and maybe the following consonant, etc. Some rules of reduplication are given here. The consonant of reduplication is normally the first consonant of the root. A long radical vowel may be shortened. Bibhi from root bhi, dada from root da. The reduplicated part uses a non-aspirate instead of the corresponding aspirate. Dadha from dha, bibhr from bhr, etc. A palatal is substituted for a guttural or h, juhu from hu and jaha from ha. As we have seen in the case of bhr, r never appears in reduplication. It is replaced by e. Reduplication is quite common in Hindi, where not only verbs but also nouns, adjectives, etc. are reduplicated. Some examples in Hindi are khate khate mat bolo, or wo ro kar bola, or pani thanda thanda hai. Sometimes words are reduplicated as echo words, paisa vaisa, etc. Even in English, reduplication is commonly used. For example, to jaw is always better than to war. Again, some are echo words, dilly-dally, wishy-washy, etc. Note that some verbs of class 1 roots like pa, stha and ghra, which form verb stems piba, tishtha and jighra respectively, would have earlier been in class 3 and may be transfers to class 1 from class 3. Like any athematic verb, the stem has a double form, a strong form with a gunated root vowel and a weak form without the gunation. For example, for hu, it is juho and juhu. For bhi, it is bibhe and bibhi. Verbs of class 3 lose the in the third plural ending in the active, indicative and imperative as well as the middle indicative. Also, the imperfect plural active ending is us instead of an, and before this us, the final radical vowel gets gunated. Let us now look at some conjugation paradigms. The present indicative of the class 3 root verb who is given here. Now the imperfect. The Optative. The Imperative. And the Participles. Since the active participle closely follows the pattern of the third person plural, it is formed by adding ath to the weak stem and not anth like in the other classes. The active participle of who is juhvat. Unlike the other classes, the active participle ends in ath and not anth. So the declension does not show two forms, the weak and strong stems. There is only one stem. The feminine of the active participle is juhvati. The middle participle is regular and is juhwana. To get a complete picture, let us also look at the present indicative of the class 3 root br. The roots da and dha, which are the commonest roots of this class, lose their radical vowel completely in the weak forms, where it is shortened to dad and dad. In the second singular imperative active, they form dehi and dehi. They also go through some peculiar consonant sandhis. Let us look at the conjugation paradigms of dha. Here is the indicative. Now the imperfect. The optative. The imperative. And the participles. This is the end of lesson 21. In this lesson, we looked at verbs of root class 3.